Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unger Academy. Today, I have Adriano with me, one of our longtime students who's been with us since 2022.
2021.
2021, right?
September 2021.
September 2021. So, right from the very first days, let's say, of the program we have today, and he's one of our most active contributors in the Unger Academy student community and highly valued within our community. And Adriano, hi, welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. So, before we dive in, tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and how you spend your days.
Yeah, well, I'm retired now. I'm 77 years old, so I don't work anymore. My days revolve around Unger Academy. And, of course, all the usual day-to-day things in life. But I have to say, discovering Unger has really kept me busy. And it's been something I truly enjoy. Let me just quickly tell you how I got interested in the markets and trading. So I started in 2020 during COVID. We were all stuck at home, so I was looking for something to do. I used both my bank and a trading platform, but my bank didn't provide any real support. I made a few trades with ETFs, stocks, nothing major. And then I moved to another platform where I tried using math, linear regressions, some indicators to get results, but again, no support. So after about 6 months, and luckily only small losses because I'm quite cautious, I decided to stop completely. I went online to look for something more structured, and that's when I found Andrea Unger. I saw him online, and I thought, if this guy is a 4-time world trading champion, he must have something valuable to teach. So I reached out, and I spoke with one of your coaches. He was very kind and explained things to me. And that's how I joined Unger Academy. I started with the 1-year target program, and it took me some time to really understand everything. And then I moved on to Algo Trader Fast, and eventually I went live. Not right away, though. I've been trading live for about 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get comfortable with multi-charts and TradeStation fast. Really learn how to use the tools. And I developed a strong passion for coding. I like opening code, understanding it, and modifying it. I also collaborate with another Unger Academy student who's very good with Titan.
A bit of diversity.
Exactly. We split the work. I build the strategies and he feeds them into Titan. And I have to say, the results are good. We can't complain.
Before joining Unger Academy, what was the main challenge you were facing?
Honestly, I just wanted to have some fun, stay busy, and not lose money. I didn't succeed at that, but mainly because there wasn't enough support. And that's the big difference compared to Unger Academy, where the support is excellent.
Yes, that's very positive.
The coaches are very present, very kind, and very professional.
And what was it specifically that made you decide to choose us over the other options available on the market?
Well, again, it was the fact that Andrea is a 4-time world champion, and that caught my attention.
Like many others, I imagine. And is there a specific aspect of the program, a module, a moment, an approach that really made a difference for you?
Yeah, everything helped. But the real turning point was when I joined the VIP group and started studying those strategies in depth. And that's when things really changed. Your strategies are solid, and I even created some of my own.
You've become a super VIP yourself, and now you're contributing.
I'm not sure about that, but I even created what I called the Adriano formula. I modified one of your functions, added directionality, and it works well. I recently submitted a strategy for evaluation that includes this formula, and I'm curious to hear what the coaches think.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, Adriano, let's get to the concrete results. After applying what you've learned, maybe if you take us through the years you've been with us, what results have you actually achieved?
So I've been trading live since 2024. And 2024 was a good year, I have to say. I had some solid results and a few nice wins. But in 2025, I had some small losses. But everything was very contained, honestly. 2026 has just started and I am slightly in profit. But I think right now it's really tough. It's hard to stay profitable. And why? Because there's a lot of disorder in the markets due to everything that's going on. And there's no point even repeating it. And it's not easy to manage. I mean, normally volatility is the real fuel of trading. But right now, it's not just volatility we have to deal with, it's disorder. And that's much harder to manage. So you really need to be careful. In this kind of environment, you need to take a step back and better understand what's actually going on. Another challenge I had, which I've now overcome, was handling new news releases. But we've learned how to manage that, so it's no longer an issue. The real problem now is this global disorder, which is clearly affecting all markets.
And since this disorder's been around, we know it wasn't overnight, but in some cases, maybe it was. And what results have you managed to achieve anyway?
Well, me and the other Unger student I work with managed to make a little bit of profit. Very little. But I have to be honest, I fully understand that if you look at certain equity curves, they all start to flatten. And that's normal right now, in my opinion. The market is reacting in a certain way. And it's changing. Actually, I think it's changing quite deeply.
And how has life changed since you achieved those first results and the ones you have today?
Honestly, I'm very happy. It keeps me busy. It keeps me engaged. And I'm really glad to have built such a good relationship with you. You know, at 77, having a hobby like this is incredibly stimulating. Really stimulating. I truly recommend it to anyone who has the time and at least some basic understanding of math. It can really be something positive. Of course, I still have my usual hobbies too. Tennis, sports, playing cards, the usual.
Tennis is great. If you hadn't chosen us or made the choice to come with us, where do you think you'd be today?
Honestly, I don't know. I probably would have done something through my bank. But it's completely different. When I compare it to my past experience, I can clearly see that Unger Academy's approach is totally different from anything else. Now, I'm sure there are other organizations out there that are just as professional and that you can find online, but I believe Unger is really the most specialized, the one that provides the most support and gives you the most opportunities. And also, I've recently started getting into options, and wow, that's really interesting. I would definitely recommend them to anyone who doesn't have a lot of time to dedicate. Of course, you still need to invest some time if you want to be profitable, but if you understand them right away, and I believe the two approaches you teach do exactly that, they can absolutely be both interesting and profitable.
And let's explore the options a bit. I don't know how long you've been following us.
Oh, very recently, just a few days, really very little. I did my first session with Gabriel. He's excellent, truly outstanding. And he showed me some great things. I started by simulating trades, placing very simple orders using the basic structure, buying a put option and selling another put with a different expiration. So yeah, I've started working on that. Right now, it's not the right time to trade though. The Unger traffic light is clearly red.
Exactly. Oh, yes.
Yeah, because volatility is too high. But I already feel capable of placing orders. For now, I'll keep studying. Like I said, I've only just started with options, but I really recommend them to anyone who doesn't have a lot of time. They're very interesting.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And let's hope it calms down a bit.
Exactly. and then we can trade again. I also found something else really interesting. There are a lot of concepts around volatility that are explained very well through options strategies, and I'm already applying them in my coding work. There are some really valuable ideas there, and they carry over into the area that I enjoy the most, which is coding.
Oh, yes, enjoy it. Really have a good time. So, Adriano, last question. If there's someone watching this interview who's still undecided, what would you tell them?
What would I say? Well, I would definitely say choose Unger Academy for the level of support, for the professionalism of all the coaches, and also for their kindness. There are many reasons, but one of the most important is how they teach you to manage risk. It's really well done, very structured and effective. And another important thing is that you can start even with relatively small capital. You don't need a huge amount to begin, and that's exactly what I did. I started small and then gradually increased my capital over time. Of course, if you want bigger results, you'll need to scale up, but you can absolutely get started with a very accessible amount.
Adriano, thank you so much for your testimonial, for the energy you bring to the community every day, and for the time you've given us today.
Oh, actually, I don't know if this is possible, but I'd like to show you something. Can I share my screen and show some equity curves? Is that okay?
Oh, yes.
I'd like to show you these structures. These are some of my codes, and they all have one thing in common. They all include what I call the Adriano formula. Yes. As I mentioned, I've submitted it for evaluation. But now let me just show you some of these equity curves. The code itself is the same across different markets. So let's take a look. So this one is gold. Gold performed very well. And as you can see, from the beginning of 2024, we are in out of samples. So everything after that point is out of sample data. And I'd say this is a very strong equity curve.
Yes.
Definitely a good curve. Now, using the same signal, let's look at it on the S&P 500, for example. Now, here it's a bit less smooth, but it is still trending upward. Let's check a few more. Now, I don't remember which ones were the best, but let's take a look.
And here too.
And here too.
It's also a bit of growth here.
Yeah, there's a bit of, well, of course, these are difficult times. But overall, these are all upward equity curves, and that's the key point. Let's look at the European market, the DAX. I don't remember exactly. I tested all of them just to compare. This one is good too. And you can see they're all trending upward, even if they're affected by the current situation.
Well, yes, a bit of flattening.
They can't avoid suffering a bit. But let's put that away. It would be unnatural if they didn't.
But still, it's a pretty healthy growth, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely not bad growth. And like I said, I tested this across all instruments. And you can see it here as well. Even on the Russell, which isn't used that often. But it works well there too. And I've submitted this one for evaluation as well. Here's the Dow Jones, and then I'll stop.
Yes.
So I've sent everything in for review, and if they give me some useful feedback to improve these curves even further, that would be great.
Well, from our support, absolutely.
I think they're analyzing it, but you don't know. It takes time. You need a bit of patience.
No, thank you so much for sharing that too.
Yes, well, it's a structure, like I said. The code is the same across all instruments. Of course, the inputs are different. They've been optimized differently. But you can clearly see that there's a solid underlying engine that works across markets.
Yes,
And that's very interesting.
a nice chat.
It works extremely well on gold. Obviously, gold performed beautifully. A bit less on other instruments, but still consistently good.
Well, our students and also those watching this interview, I think they'll really appreciate these charts to see a bit how one lives, even in these times.
Yeah, like I said, strategy selection should be based on equity curves. They need to be rising curves with at least a couple of years of out-of-sample data. And that's how you know the underlying logic is solid.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adriano. And for those watching us, this is what it means to be part of Unger Academy. We're very lucky to have Adriano in our student community as well. Thank you so much again, Adriano.
Absolutely.